Greetings and salutations, Scribblers. Welcome to another series of writing advice videos. Again, these are 6 videos that are going to center on the reading signposts discussed in the book Notice and Note, Strategies for Close Reading by Kylene Beers and Robert E. Probst. This book is designed for classroom reading and ELA teachers, but the reading signposts that they talk about are excellent for authors to be aware of as well. So last time we talked about words of the wiser. Today, we're going to be talking about what's called again and again. So this reading signpost, again, is exactly what it sounds like, just like Words of the Wiser was. This is when an author brings something up repetitively in a text. It might be a word that appears on just one page again and again, or maybe it's a motif that's been developed throughout the story. It could be a signature color that the character always wears, or a piece of jewelry they always play with. Whatever it is, it's been put in there for a reason, and the author wants you to keep thinking about it. So before I go any further, I do have 2 disclaimers with this one. 1, this is not about phrases or actions that you're repeating in your manuscript. I once had the phrase "for a moment" 13 times on one page of a text. This was not intentional. This was just me drafting and not having a solid grasp of my craft yet. So those repetitive phrases that an author will keep using, sometimes it is not intentional, and it's just they haven't quite grasped their craft to know that they need to change some things up and not reuse that. The second disclaimer is that sometimes a blue shirt is just a blue shirt, and it has no meaning whatsoever. And that's like kind of for you as the reader to be thinking about, right? But since we're looking at the signpost specifically from a writer's perspective, we're looking at these as something that is very intentional, that we want to do to highlight a character, a theme, or some other aspect of your story. So you're going to look at your story and see what your characters are doing repeatedly. Is there an object that they keep thinking about? As a signpost, again and again, really helps the reader to better understand the theme of the novel. It could be also the conflict, or sometimes it can be used to foreshadow something that's going to happen. And it really makes the reader ask, why does this keep coming up? So again, you're engaging the reader's mind and making them ask these questions. So, Scribblers, you can use this signpost to really emphasize elements of your novel. You might have a character who wears a necklace that they constantly rub between their fingers when they're nervous. Maybe this necklace is a link to someone that they lost and it brings them comfort, or they use it to remind them of a mistake that they made and they promise never to make that same mistake again. So that necklace in that moment, like really just it keys their brain in, right? Looking for this in your own story also might be something easier to do when you're in the revision stage. So when you're in the drafting stage, you're just putting stuff down, you're just trying to get the story out and to figure it out. So this is a signpost that for an author is much better to think about when you're reading through, when you're working towards your revision, because you can really read with an eye for the things that come up again and again. Or you might want to have a beta reader and ask them what they notice. So that way you can make sure that like your message is actually getting across. Well, I wanted you to notice that I kept saying this, that this object kept being mentioned. And there's always a chance that sometimes you might have repeated something in your manuscript that you didn't even intend to do. And sometimes that can be really great. And we're like, yeah, that's awesome. I totally meant to do that. And you didn't. And sometimes you're like, wait, is that what's coming across? I need to change that. I can't have that because that's not what I want the story to be. So either way, you want to add this into your writing craft toolbox as something to be aware of while you write, because it might have a really big impact on your reader, even if you're not aware of it. So again, the book that I'm talking about and that I'm getting these reading signposts from is called Notice and Note. It is by Kylene Beers and Robert Probst. Highly recommend reading it. It is really great. It's not a difficult read. It's very easy to just work through it and learn about all these different things. Tell us about your favorite examples of again and again, either from a novel or from your own writing. And if you're looking for help in developing a motif in your novel or just looking for a basic developmental edit, please check out the links below for the Scribblers Den. And we'd love to help you and talk to you about your writing. Don't forget to like and hit subscribe below the video so you know when the next one comes out. And we'll see you next time. Happy writing, Scribblers.